everyone, this is Greg Nibbler here at Fox 12, Oregon. What we're watching right now is live footage. As you can see, it's having a little bit of an issue there. This is live footage inside a helicopter area that's flooded in Texas. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is there in the plane. The audio's a little loud, naturally, in this helicopter. I'll turn this up so you can hear some of the comments, but right now it does appear they're looking for a place to land. They're going to be providing an update on what he's seen, what the efforts are currently. So we're going to follow along.
Looks like that guy was stuck. He was waving. His truck was off the road.
Okay, that's some of the audio there. Some other officials. So we'll follow along with this. And
hey, on that guy that was stuck.
Yeah, we'll let them talk about
so we're going to have Raymond do a DPS with us. There's a guy stuck on a little roadway in a truck. Looked like he got pushed off the road. About a quarter of a mile west of the Hunt store. We're going to be coming back across there anyway, right?
It depends on time we can, or we'll probably go beeline right to the airport, though.
Yeah, we could just communicate with somebody on the ground.
To help the state of Texas on the ground out here.
Never been better. I've dealt with so many storms. We've seen so many across the country. President Trump was president when I was governor during Hurricane Harvey, but never have I seen a response as quick or as effective as I have the Trump administration response to this storm. Trump immediately granted a request, immediately called to help, immediately sent out Chrissy Noam, and I've dealt with a lot of staff administrators or secretaries of cabinets to have come to the Senate Texas to help out. No one has been as actively hands-on and swiftly delivering results as much as Chrissy Noam. 1 second. So that's not Baltimore, is it? It's further up.
I think it's further up. Camp Stewart for boys.
It's been the swiftest, most effective that any president has ever delivered. Record amount of support, record amount of time, record immediate results.
Governor, what else would you like to see the feds bring in? Any other troops that are in joint base Lackland? Could you use that extra boots on the ground?
So when you were talking about that, you kind of broke up a little bit and said you mentioned something about them bringing in. I missed what you were saying.
More boots in the... Sorry about that. You mentioned about the federal response. Would you like to see some federal troops, maybe from San Antonio, Joint Base San Antonio, come in and help?
Let me answer that in a second, because I'm thinking but not sure. We're about to pass over Baltimore.
Yes, sir. On my phone, that's what it looks like. Looks like it's pretty off the nose.
Hello, this is Greg Nibbler here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, just letting you know what you're watching. So we are awaiting an update from Texas officials, including right there Governor Greg Abbott from Texas, an update on the flooding that has occurred, the efforts, the rescue efforts, and everything else that is happening with it. So we don't know everything that we're going to be hearing about, but we do know an update is imminent. It does sound like they're attempting to clear out a landing spot from what we've been overhearing there in the helicopter. But yeah, this was part of a tour of some of the areas of the flooding. And again, it's Governor Greg Abbott right there, but some other officials as well that will be providing that update here, hopefully before too long. But we're just going to keep here with this, and we'll let you know if we find out anything. But otherwise, we're with you. We're waiting to hear from them, and we'll keep it right here.
Washed off the road by water, and because we were able to see it from the air, we were able to quickly contact people on the ground to go to his rescue to make sure his challenges were addressed. Good news for him, he was outside of his vehicle, standing up, didn't appear to be in any serious physical harm, but his truck looked like it was in danger.
And it's an example of why the danger persists still here, even though the water's down.
It's also an example of why we have to maintain aerial overview of this area 24/7, because we were able to see and respond to something immediately because we were in the air. It could have taken a long time on the ground to come across something like that.
Hey, Governor, my previous question. We've got a lot of personnel in San Antonio and Joint Base San Antonio.
For those of you who are watching live, this is Greg Nibbler here in the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. You are hearing the live footage from the helicopter, so if it does sound off, that's not your speakers, that's not coming from us, it's because it's audio coming directly from a helicopter. We're anticipating they're going to be landing on the ground here shortly, where they'll be giving more official updates, so we're awaiting that right now. We'll stick with them here in the helicopter and wait to hear from them when they get on the ground. But just want to make sure that you knew that sound is directly coming from that helicopter.
What we've done, whether it be the resources provided by the Trump administration, by the state of Texas, or the local level, we've combined resources to make sure that we are covering every square inch of the land. And as they continue to cross a certain area of land, they mark it off in a matrix, knowing that area has been covered. Doesn't mean they're not going to go back and cover it again. They're just making sure they check the box as they go down the stream administration, but I've been contacted by so many states, and other governors have either already sent or have on the way to Texas their own search and rescue teams to assist in this effort. Hold on a second. Is this the river right here? It looks like that. So guys, this is upstream from Camp Mystic.
Yeah, he said we're upstream on the south border. At 4,800 feet is the MQ-9 Reaper remotely piloted aircraft. It is flying from probably around Comfort all the way up through Hunt up in these areas. And it's, a persistent eye in the sky over all this land. And then what the governor was saying about other states in the week, it usually has to leave by about 2 o'clock. It launches in the morning. Because we don't have enough crews. So in North Dakota, we're working with North Dakota right now to see if we can bring on one of their crews. And what will happen is that airplanes in orbit, they will switch control from Houston, our guys, to North Dakota. They'll pick up the feed and they'll fly it through a satellite so it can stay up over this area longer. Has that eye in the sky spotted anything that triggered a rescue or a recovery? I don't have that information, but it's basically, helping guide our SAR guys, but I don't have that information. And this is another reason why we don't need personal drones in the air. We're flying low. We're looking for people. We're looking for helping.
So if you are watching live right now, that was our live footage from inside the helicopter. It looks like they're having a bit of a technical difficulty, possibly as they are landing. We are anticipating an update on the Texas flooding here shortly. It sounds like the sound is coming back on that. Okay, it looks like, well, you're getting a little bit of behind the scenes footage here as we are seeing this live as well. I want to keep this going.
4,800 feet is the MQ-9 Reaper remotely piloted aircraft. It is flying from probably around
there's Texas officials there in the helicopter who got the
and it's, persistent eye in the sky over all this land. And then what the governor was saying about
we'll continue following along. We do think they're going to be landing here at some point.
By about 2 o'clock, it launches in the morning because we don't have enough crews. So in North Dakota, we're working with North Dakota right now to see if we can bring on one of their crews. And what will happen is that airplanes in orbit, they will switch control from Houston, our guys, to North Dakota. They'll pick up the feed and they'll fly it through a satellite so it can stay up over this area longer. Has that eye in the sky spotted anything that triggered a rescue or a recovery? I don't have that information, but it's basically, helping guide our SAR guys, but I don't have that information. And this is another reason why we don't need personal drones in the air. We're flying low. We're looking for people. We're looking for helping the rescuers, and we just recently had a private drone collide with one of our aircraft. Correct. What's your message to the private, these drone pilots? Yeah, if you're not authorized to fly here, don't fly here. Period.
There's Mystic right there. So all that was just blown down. The girls were up over here. Believe it or not, those in and it was only those that hill right there to get above the water. So if you go over to those locations, you see where the red, white, and blue, you guys can't see, but there's a red, white, and blue container that they're putting trash in. He's going to need to back up. It's covered by trees. You see the water level where it is right now. Think how high it had to get to be at the top of the roofs of those buildings up over there. It's unfathomable. If I said back up, I mean like going that way. You might as well do a circle. We need to be like over the water and hit the looks like there's a red, white, and blue container. You see that? Right behind it are two houses. Girls were trapped in. Water went to the top of those two houses and flooded those poor little girls. Well, I don't think that. Governor's right here by the tower. It's out of. Yeah. Out of range. But you can see clearing out of the cabins these girls were in. These girls lived at night there. Most of the ones in the cabins right there climbed the hill right here behind them and were out of harm's way. Unfortunately, some other girls in some cabins up over there got trapped into those cabins. But the height of that water above where we are right now is just, it's hard to even comprehend that it could even get that high. Governor, one more time, describe that scene for me. We're in the area on the river right now that really cost so many of these girls their lives. These are cabins right here that are the closest to the water. I'm told by sources that the girls in these cabins right here were the first they approached to make sure that they would be kept safe. And they took them from those cabins and had them walk up that hill right there above the rising water, and most of them, if not all of them, turned out to be safe. They went to each succeeding cabin to get girls out of those cabins. Only when you get further up the hill, you get to cabins where no one thought water would get that high over there. But it did. Not only did it get high, it went all the way to the roof of those cabins way over there. And it's one of those cabins way over there that the girls were swept away by the ravaging river. They're going to move up the hill here. Look at the size of those uprooted trees, man. There's a Kevin sign on that building right there. mind. Nothing but heartache for these families who are out here now collecting the belongings of their children. And you can't even imagine what's going through their minds. And you wish there was some way that there's something you could say to them that would solve their pain, but there's really nothing you could say. Hold on one second, because that's you guys can't see it, but right there is the house none of those kids were in.
You want to rotate around?
Maybe if they went clockwise, get these guys a shot on this side.
Okay.
Justin, there's a good straight shot right there.
This is Greg Nibbler from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. Just an update on here. We're watching footage there in Texas as Texas Governor Greg Abbott is flying over some of the areas that were hit by the flood. They're going to be heading to a press conference. We believe they'll be landing here at some point where a more official update will be given, but this has been part of him surveying that damage. So the noise you're hearing along with that, that's directly because it's audio coming from inside the helicopter itself. So we will continue to monitor this. As you can see here, that's where we anticipate the news conference to be happening. We believe that's where he's going to be heading, but we are following along with you.
Right now.
Arabella, Texans, born with them. We understand the pain that they're going through right now. We're going to do everything possible to aid them, assist them, to console them, help them be able to rebuild their lives, knowing that the state of Texas is standing by their side every step of the way. Head on back. Have them take the river up to the hunt store, and then they can just take it directionally from there.
Okay.
People right underneath us searching. A lot of people walking up and down the river basin there searching. Amongst all those trees. And at a very fast mile per hour pace. Just unfathomable what they went through.
Oh, Tim, sorry about that. And they weren't as successful with rescues as Texas has been. What would you think the difference is in those events versus this one? Why was Texas so much more successful?
Well, I can't really say what other states did or didn't do. What I can tell you is what Texas did do. We always are weather aware, and because of that, we pre-position assets in and around this area 2 days before the flooding took place. 1 day before the flooding took place, as we gained more detailed information, we were able to both increase those assets and resources as well as make them closer to where the ultimate event would likely take place. So we were ready within minutes of the flood coming through to begin the response. The first thing we always do, we focus on saving lives. And we have teams of very experienced search and rescue operations, Texas Task Force 1, Texas Task Force 2, and other operations that were able to immediately begin saving lives. Same thing went from both the local officials and then once we had the Coast Guard come in here very quickly to make stunning rescues themselves. So it was truly an all hands on deck type situation where we were ready from the get-go to make sure that we would be able to save lives as needed. Thank you, sir.
Down in this area, this assessment over this body of this area, does that seem practical to you? Do you think that's a good idea? Is it doable?
So, it is one of literally dozens of ideas. If we're going to take a look at this session, you ask the important question, is it practical? Is it effective? If you go back and look at what's been said in the community in the past, they really didn't want sirens. I can't tell you why. Just telling you what I read. Here's the point. We can't, from the Capitol in Austin, Texas, dictate to these people what's going to be most effective for them. We need them to weigh in and give us what their best thoughts and ideas are, what they think works. I'll tell you one thing that doesn't work really is a guy who's been here for 20 years to this very region every summer. I know that cell phone service is spotty at best, non-existent most frequently. And so alerts that typically would come over a cell phone or things like that probably didn't make it. So there has to be what everybody can agree upon is there has to be a better way. And it's just going to take everybody working together to figure out what those best ways are. Something else earlier that I think I was unable to answer because of something on the ground. But you made a point that we need to emphasize. We're dealing with a mass casualty event here. At the same time, we're responding to deadly floods in other parts of the state of Texas also. That's why a couple of days ago we had our press conference in Austin as opposed to down here in Kerrville to focus on the deaths and the danger that existed there in central Texas all the way up to the big country. And so we have challenges here that must be fixed. We have challenges in other parts of the state of Texas that must be faced and addressed as well.
And you're certainly, don't forget those people, because they're hurting too.
100%. Every life matters. Every region matters. Everyone we want to hear from everyone. And we want to be able to address this in a multifaceted way. One second. Is this? Yeah, this is the Hunt store again.
And they go counterclockwise. I don't think Chris got a good shot.
So the Hunt store is going to be on the other side of that row of trees. Right on this side of that white rooftop.
light reported
Fox 12
devastation. And again, the wide footprint of this small
There it
surge
goes, so we're going to go ahead and pull this up right now.
I visited with some locals who live around here, including a family member of the owner of this store. I let her know that I first came to this store about 21 years ago. Been to this store every year for many years. I've seen these little campers since they were just a little bit bigger than toddlers, young kids. I've seen them grow and mature into beautiful young men and women. Nothing is as heart-wrenching as hearing the stories of what the girls around here, especially the girls at Camp Mystic, went through. To see where they lived in one moment, where they disappeared the next moment, and were gone forever a few moments after that. I wanted these people to know, I want you all to know, the hearts of our fellow Texans are breaking every single day because of what people of this community and the surrounding area are going through. There's nothing more important on our hearts and minds than the people of this community, especially those who are still lost. I told them what we were doing, not just today, but what we are going to be doing for the days, weeks, and months to come. This is what they needed to hear. They need to know Texas is in this with the people in the Hill Country right here. We are not leaving until this job is finished. The job right now, the primary job right now, continues to be locating everybody who was affected by this flood. There still remain those who are missing. We have to find every single person who's missing. And that's job number one. While we are doing that job, it's important that we also be conducting other business affecting this storm. We did several things in that regard today. One is to get a better assessment about what exactly needed to be provided for the community. We took a flyover to get that assessment. I've been here for multiple times over the course of the past 2 decades, but multiple times over the course of just this one flooding episode. And I have a good feel on the ground of what is needed. But when you're in the air, you get a fuller perspective of how widespread, how catastrophic the damage is, and what must be done to fully address it. We were able to process that better today when we flew around. And on that fly around today, I had with me the Speaker of the House, Dustin Burrows, who's going to speak after myself. I want to provide you with some information, some of which is just now updated. First, the numbers that I have is that there are 94 fatalities. 94 fatalities associated with this flooding event in this area. Separate from that, in other flooding events in other parts of the state of Texas, there's another 15 fatalities for a total of 109. To put this into perspective, just in the Kerr and Kendall counties alone, there are far more fatalities than there were in Hurricane Harvey. That's how catastrophic this is. I also have some updated numbers on those who are missing. First, from Camp Mystic. My information is those who are missing is down to now 5 campers and 1 counselor. 5 campers and 1 counselor missing. In addition to that, there is another child not associated with the camp who is missing. So for Kerr County, that would be a total of 7 who are missing. In other parts of the state, there are 12 who are missing. I have a new number, however. So one thing we've been reaching out to the public about is to get better information about those who were not registered at a camp, those who were not registered at a hotel, those who may have been down here who no one really had any accounting of. And through law enforcement agencies working together, they provided me this number. Just in the Kerr County area alone, there are 161 people who are known to be missing. And again, that comes from combined law enforcement efforts, 161 known people who are missing. Know this, we will not stop until every missing person is accounted for. Know this also, there very likely could be more added to that list. One way that we were able to expand the list of those who are missing is because family members, friends, neighbors, etc. begin calling in and reporting them as missing. What I want to do is once again provide a reminder to anybody watching this that if you have a friend, a family member, somebody that you think may be missing because of this storm, we need you to call the number that I'm about to give you. It is 830-258-1111. That's 830-258-1111. If you want to go to a website address, you can go to kerrvillemissing@dps.texas.gov. I'm going to repeat it twice more. That's Kerrville, spelled Kerrville, no space, then the word missing, MISSING. So Kerrville Missing at dps.texas.gov. So either call that phone number, go to that website, and provide the name and the best identification you can and the last known location of anybody that you think is missing. Know this also, if you make a prank call or provide false information, that's a crime. Do not provide false information because you're hindering our ability to undertake this investigation, hindering our ability to actually rescue and find those who truly are missing. So you better be correct when you're calling in and let us know that there is somebody who is missing. Importantly, we know that so many families are going through grief that's beyond anyone's comprehension right now, beyond any of us being able to walk up to them and give them the magic words that will make them suddenly feel healed. We know that they need grief counselors. We have 5 organizations that together are providing dozens of grief counselors for all of the affected family members around here. It's so important at times like this for family members to access that grief counseling so they can have their mental and emotional health needs addressed in what may be the most challenging time of their lives. Something else that's a help as we begin the process of helping places like the Hunt store, the local community, Hunt, Texas, be able to rebuild. One thing that is speeding that recovery was the immediate granting of the major master declaration that was granted by President Trump. It immediately opened not only access to more funding, but also access to more resources to be able to more quickly and more effectively respond to this storm. That includes debris removal, which has already begun. It includes assistance for individuals who are eligible to apply, and the Director of Texas Division of Emergency Management will explain more about that in a second. But there are 2 categories of people or entities that there is money available to assist. One are individuals affected by the storm. Another are public entities like the town of Hunt, like the town of Kerrville, like the county of Kerr, etc. They may have needs with regard to roads or utilities, whatever the case may be. Now the assistance is available for them to more effectively and more quickly address that. With regard to roads, anybody who's driven around here knows that there are some roads that need repairs. The Texas Department of Public Safety is working 24/7 to make sure they're going to be getting these roads repaired impassable as quickly as possible. Going back to President Trump, he and I spoke again this morning, and he could not stop talking about how sad he was for all the little girls who've lost their life. He recounted his own understanding of what happened with what was really a tsunami wave of wall of water that swept too many of them away. And he cares a lot about those young ladies. And he wants to step up and make sure that any need that we have here in Texas is going to be met very quickly. And he's already done that by helping to provide the quick assistance by sending down Secretary Kristi Noem, who, listen, I've been dealing with events like this for 10 years. Never have I seen someone respond as quickly and as effectively as what Secretary Noem did. Also, while coming over here, I received this text from Secretary Kennedy that says the following. It says, Governor Abbott, it's Secretary Robert Kennedy. It says, we are set to declare a public health emergency for the Texas Hill Country flash floods. This will make it easier for healthcare and mental health providers from out of state to help both by traveling to the area and by telemedicine. Please let us know where we can be most helpful, which I will let him know. But I just wanted you to know about that new update. Now I would like to turn things over to the Speaker of the Texas House, Dustin Burrows.
Thank you, Governor. First, to the members of the community and all those who've been impacted, the survivors, those who've lost loved ones, I know there's not any adequate words any of us can express to share our care and concern. But I want to promise you, every person in this state, every tip of it, we have held you in our thoughts, in our prayers, and we will continue to do so as you go through this. And you take care of what I know all Texans can endure. I had the opportunity to fly with Governor Abbott today over the damaged area. It is hard to comprehend the amount of water that came through in such a short period of time. It is unimaginable what the victims and survivors went through as they were faced with that, and we heard the stories about that. And looking at the debris and looking at the problems and all of the damage that's been done, I know there's a long road to recovery. But through that, we saw some silver linings. We saw Texas flags being flown proudly because we know people of this state are resilient. We saw people from all over the state coming together and working and volunteering and trying to begin helping rebuild and continuing with the search and recovery efforts. I have had members of the Texas House from all over the state looking for ways to help. You have a great local representative with West Verdell, but I promise you, every Texan, all 150 members of the Texas House have been looking for ways to help, whether it's helping to raise money or wanting to do things. They are committed to it. I want to thank Governor Abbott for saying that we will address these issues in a special session in 2 weeks. And I want to assure you, the Texas House will be organized, we will be ready, and we stand willing and able to listen to the community and experts and do all that we can to help address it from this perspective. So thank you all very much for the opportunity. I'll turn over the microphone.
This is the kind of event that the Speaker of the House would have come to in an ordinary situation. When you consider the fact that we're going to start a special session 2 Mondays from now, a special session that will have at the top of its agenda helping communities like in Kerr County, Kendall County, as well as in Central Texas and the Big Country, all areas affected by the floods of the past week. Those issues are going to be on the agenda for the state to address from top to bottom. We want to make sure that when we end that session, we end it making sure these communities are better, more resilient, and have the resources that they need for the next chapter of their lives. Now we have the director of the Texas Department of Public Safety, Freeman Martin.
Governor, thank you. The governor said it. We have 109 fatalities and 161 missing. Every asset and resource that the Department of Public Safety has is being used on this response. We have 258 people just from DPS assigned here in Kerrville. They're from the Highway Patrol, the Tactical Marine Unit, criminal investigators, Texas Rangers, SWAT, IOD and ICT, and victim services. And you ask, well, what do all these do? Everybody does something different. Everybody understands search and rescue. When the governor mentioned 161 missing, the city of Kerrville stood up a line that if you can't get a hold of a loved one, if they're missing in the Kerrville area, call this number. That number grew to several hundred. These analysts worked with Kerr County Sheriff's Department and the Kerrville Police Department to narrow that down. People that have been identified as deceased, people who have been found alive, deconflicted, the numbers that have been reported twice, and we are still down to 161 missing. All I can tell you is there's nothing to celebrate about how well we've done this far, but there's a lot of work to be done. And we're thankful that the speaker standing behind us and the governor, the Texas legislature has funded us, and we're properly staffed and equipped to respond to this. Just this last session, a few weeks ago, we were given 6 replacement helicopters and 1 fixed wing. That is exactly what we use to respond to these. I'll tell you another thing, we have plenty of resources, but at the same time, we're not turning down one resource until we recover every last person on this list of 161. So we have FBI, DEA, HSI, the United States Border Patrol, the United States Coast Guard, everybody working together under a unified command, and we won't stop until we finish. A couple things. Right now in Burnett County, we have 3 Zodiac boats and 26 DPS personnel from the Tactical Marine Unit and the Texas Highway Patrol continuing searching. I'm in constant communication with the Travis County Sheriff, Sally Hernandez. They are helping us at the medical examiner's office, and at the same time, they have as many as 10 people that are missing from Travis County. As we pulled in the parking lot, I got off the phone with the sheriff from Williamson County. They just recovered their last victim. They had 3 people that were swept away, and just minutes ago, they recovered their last victim in Williamson County. There's a lot of work to be done in Kerr County and Kendall County. We will continue to grow this and add additional agencies as we go forward, but the governor's right, we won't stop until every last body is recovered, alive or not. So thank you very much. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. Now, General Seltzer with the Texas National Guard.
Thank you, Governor. I just got off about an hour-long helicopter trip with the governor, and I can tell you what I saw was miles and miles of massive devastation. The Texas National Guard will stay here working with our federal, state, and local partners to search for the missing and to help our communities recover.
Can't hear. Okay. Just the trucks.
We will continue using assets such as search crews on the ground, high-profile military vehicles, Black Hawk helicopters with rescue hoists, and heavy Chinook helicopters in order to conduct search and rescue, evacuation, and to insert critical safety teams into austere areas to help life-saving. Aiding us in the effort today is the arrival of 4 Black Hawk helicopters from the state of Arkansas. That grows our agency count to 13 helicopters in support of this effort. Additionally, overhead, for the last 3 days, we have had MQ-9 Reaper remotely piloted aircraft conducting search and rescue operations. We are working with other states to get additional crews to support so that we can expand the coverage of that search and rescue operation. And lastly, we have shelter management crews that are working within the community to help those in need. I would like to close by saying something that the governor has said many times before. He's said it many times today, but I'll emphasize it. Your National Guard will not leave until every person is found. And we will not leave until our communities are recovered. Thank you.
Thank you.
General Seltzer rightfully mentioned and thanked the state of Arkansas for helping out with those Blackhawks as well as other resources. I jotted down from memory what I think is every state that I know has either provided help or offered it or is on its way. I say that I'm hoping I'm not leaving anybody out. But our fellow governors and fellow states are helping out from Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Iowa, Nebraska, Ohio, South Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and I regret if I missed your state. I'll try to come back to it here in a second. But next is Chief Nim Kidd with the Texas Division of Emergency Management.
Thank you, Governor. I want to start by thanking all of you for standing out here in this heat and experiencing a little bit of what the volunteers and first responders are dealing with around the clock as we continue our search. We have 4 priorities. They are the continuation of the search. They are debris cleanup and removal. They are supporting individual assistance programs and public assistance programs. I'm going to dive into some of the details of those. We continue our search operations not just here in Kerr County, but in the other 5 counties where we have people that are reported missing. As you can see and hear by the trucks passing by, debris cleanup is well underway. I want to thank the volunteers and all of the private sector partners that are out there working on debris operations right now. This will aid in the continuation of our search. We are pushing forward to help those whose homes and businesses have been impacted through the FEMA Individual Assistance Program. The President's program has people here on the ground today that are working to get people registered through our websites and start opening disaster recovery centers today and tomorrow. Damage assessments for those locals are still underway, and we've had over 1,000 submissions into the ISTAT program. Please, if you have not submitted into the ISTAT program yet and your home or business was impacted, you send that information to us. That didn't work out. Next, we continue to work on our public assistance for our communities, working to get our roads repaired, our debris cleaned up, our water, wastewater, and utilities back up online.